Today you join me with this stunning 1953 Bentley R Type Continental. We're going to shoot this video slightly differently to how we've shown some of our previous retrim projects. We're going to shoot this all in one, but over the coming months. So you'll see this progress through this video to the finished result. Bentley introduced this car in 1952, and at the time it was really the only car that could travel with 4 people at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. It really was quite revolutionary at the time. This car has been painted in Schwarz, Kirsch, and looks absolutely incredible, I'm sure you'll agree. We've got this beautiful leather hanging up here that's going to make up most of the trim, and there's a couple of other details that we're just going to clarify with the owner before we unveil those. Bentley built a total of 208 of these R-Type Continentals, and at the time they cost around £7,000. In today's money, that's the equivalent of something like a Bugatti Chiron, especially considering the average UK wage was around £450 per year when this car was brand new. We'll have a quick look inside, and I'll just point out a few of the things. We haven't really got any of the original interior for this car other than the back seats. The new seats have been remanufactured by the company who have restored the car, which is Paget Motor Engineers, who have done an absolutely incredible job. So let's have a look inside. So here we are in the cabin. As you can see, there's nothing in here really, no headlining. These brand new seats that Paget have made that we need to build up the bases and then trim. The back seats are original and they need to be retrimmed. We need to do all of the woodwork, build the door cards, all of the panels that go around the screens, the rear windows, the rear parcel shelf, all of that needs to be manufactured before we can start to retrim this car. We're a couple of weeks into the project now. There's been a lot of preparation up to this point. We've been getting the cabin ready. We've been starting to make the wooden panels. We can finish those off in a few days' time. We're just waiting for the wood veneer to arrive. That's on its way down from the company that's been dealing with that. Barry's also built up the front seats, so he's put all the webbing in, he's built up the spring cases and the foams, and he's stitched all the flutes together. So again, once we get all the components here, they can be completed, put together, and then we can progress with the rest of the interior. Hanging up beside me, we've got some more leather. Previously, we mentioned that we were in discussions with the owner about putting in a pattern leather. He's chosen this, and I'm sure you'll see a nice close-up of that in a moment. It's going to look mega. We're going to put that in a few select places, and you'll see that as the video progresses and the project comes together. So the Bentley's progressed quite nicely since you last joined us. Barry's just in here at the minute. He's fitting up the rear arches. Similar to the front seats, we're putting some of the willow grain onto the panels and then the armrest in the plane just to give it a nice sort of two-tone textured look, but using the same colour leather. We think it's going to look absolutely fantastic. It goes really well with the headlining that Barry's finished fitting. All the panels are in there now, and we've just got the final piping to do on the headlining. We've actually used a 100% cashmere cloth for this headlining. It's been quite tricky to work with. It's quite a fragile material, but it looks absolutely incredible fitted up in the car, and it just works so well with the colour of the leather and the wood that's already in the car. It's been a couple of weeks since we last updated you on the Bentley. A lot's happened in that time. The guys have been working on the car pretty much non-stop. The door panels, rear quarter panels have all been fabricated, trimmed, fitted. The door panels have still got a little bit left to finish them off, but the bulk of the work has now been done. Barry's been hard at work on the back seats. They're almost ready to go in. We can show you a bit of those. The lower bench is in and the backrest is just over to the other side. A little bit of finishing on that, and then that can be bolted in for the final time. The front seats have also been finished. They're sat aside, ready to be fitted once the carpets are in the car. And Barry at the moment is just finishing off the headlining, putting the cane piping up into the roof, and that will just finish that off nicely. We can then bolt in the sun visors, and that's the headlining done. So on the doors, the seats and a few other small areas, we've used a willow grain leather in this car just to break up the plain leather. So we've got to the end of the trim job on this beautiful Bentley. We're going to jump inside the car in a moment and talk you through it, show you all the interesting aspects that have been involved in this project. This car was delivered to us with virtually no interior. We got delivered a pair of brand new seat frames with no foams that we had to fabricate all of the foams, all of the wood that was required and build them up. Same with the back seats, and every single panel in the car had to be fabricated from scratch and custom fitted to this car. So let's jump into the car and talk you through it. So here we are in the cabin of this beautiful Bentley. The guys have done an absolutely incredible job, as you can see, fabricating everything that was required, trimming it, fitting it. It looks incredible. Since you last saw the carpets have all been done, including the rubber mat with the HJM logo, as it should be. The seats have got fluted bases as well as backs. Originally this would have been plain leather, but the owner of this car opted to have the fluted leather. We've carried that through to the back seats as well. We also incorporated this pattern leather on the backs of the seats, aspects of the rear seats, the door panels and the rear quarter panels. Just breaks up the plain leather and it looks absolutely incredible. The cashmere headlining has all been completed, and then we've got a few nice little touches. Things like keyring there with our logo stamped into it. This car has had the gear change move from the right hand side to the centre just to make it a little bit easier to drive. We've got colour matched seat belts in here with nice chrome fixings and hand painted wood mounts for them. The final feature just to have a look at in this cabin is the rear brake light and the aircon pods. They've been veneered in wood to match the dash and the other elements of wood in the cabin, and they look absolutely incredible. We hope you've enjoyed this slightly different project from us, being a 1950s Bentley. We've got a couple more of these to do in the coming years, so hopefully we'll be able to share those with you as well. If you've enjoyed it or got any questions, please drop a comment below, give us a like, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.